I bet you dinner at Claudio's you can't get that girl's number. Without skipping a beat, I turn to my Italian buddy and ask him what food he recommends at this Italian restaurant. After being accused of racial profiling, I look at the chick in question, good looking blonde girl, and I look back at my buddy. I bet I could do it, man. You don't think so? And he says, not with her friends around. If you talk to her alone though, her answer will be a lot different, I think. I'm like, alright. Couple minutes later, we see her stand up from her table full of people and walk over to the other end of the library to some mirror by herself. My buddy looks at me, he turns to me, he's like, now, go. And I look at the girl with no thoughts, except tomorrow. Look back at my buddy, we shake on the bet officially. I have today and tomorrow to get this chick's number, and if I don't, or if she says no, I owe him dinner, a $60 dinner at this Italian restaurant. Next day, I got 75 minutes at lunch to track this chick down and make this happen. And after some hijinks and circumstances, I find her where she usually is, sitting at a table, surrounded on all sides by her friends. And I've cold approached girls before in groups. Like, it's possible, man. It can be done. It's always strange, man, but it can be done. But there's like 8 or 9 people around her. Some of them are dudes. One of them is her cousin who... He's actually cool. He seems like a nice guy, man. He's got great hair. But I'm not trying to get in the implications of all that, man. But I need this number. I need to get this number. So I'm sitting with a female friend of mine just watching all this go down, thinking, how am I going to do this? And my anxiety starts going up, man. I start my foot's tapping on her chair that she's sitting on. She's asking me what the hell's going on. And as I start to internally freak out, as my nervous system just gets jump started, as my anxiety builds, I give up. I let go. I'm not going up to her right now, so there's no point in me thinking about it. There's no point in me freaking out about it. It's not happening right now. So I let go, and I just, have a conversation with this female friend here for a bit. But at the end of lunch, bell rings, everybody's got to go to class. I see everybody at her table stand up and start to trickle off. Now's my chance. The friend group's splitting apart, man. The victim is being isolated. I should not say that, man, jeez. So I see them walking out with the group breaking apart, and I think now's my chance. And I start following her. Like a complete creep, by the way, man. But hey, my class was that way too, so I had to go. We're walking down this hallway. She's in front of me, and this is not one that's not ideal, because I always say in my cold approaching videos to go up a girl from in front of her, because if you go from behind, tap on her shoulder or something, she could get startled, she'll feel uncomfortable, it could be weird, you know what I mean? So that wasn't ideal, unless I freaking sprinted down the hallway and did a Yui. She was still with a couple of her friends, with the rest of them coming from behind. They're gonna see what's going down right now. Fuck it. Hey, I yell out her name. She turns around, I get her attention, and I say, you don't have a boyfriend, do you? And she's like, oh, no. She does the girl thing. And I was like, oh, well, if it turns out you don't, I'll get your phone number and we'll figure something out. Give her the phone, get the phone back, walk away feeling like the man, going up to some people, dapping them up, man. Walk off feeling like the man, and I called my buddy and tell him what just happened. And we enjoyed the dinner the other weekend, man. It was good. It was good. My name is Johnny Self Improvement, and this is my full guide to social anxiety, to help you overcome your anxiety so you don't have to stutter when you're going up to talk to some girl that you're attracted to. So you don't walk like a damn idiot where you're freaking like jittering just to try and walk past somebody because you're afraid of coming into contact with them. So your social anxiety doesn't inhibit your life and take away relationships that you could have with people. Best friends that you could have had, girlfriends that you could have had, dates that you could have had if you didn't have this pain inside your chest that you just can't control. 1, experience. The number one way to stop being anxious when talking to people is to start talking to more people. That might sound completely stupid, man, because I can't talk to people because I have this anxiety. But I think that's wrong, man. I don't think that's right. I think you're getting the chicken and the egg mixed up here. I think what came first was a lack of socialization. And this is for me, at least, man. For me, when I was a kid, whether it was my own fault, my parents' fault, school, whatever it was, I didn't feel comfortable talking with other people and socializing with others. So I didn't do it as much. And then when I, grew a bit older, I lacked some experience in the social realm that other people had. So then when I was going into conversation, I was a bit clueless on, what to say, how to act, how to conduct myself in a social interaction. And because of that, as I got older and older, I developed anxiety, because when I would go into those social interactions that I didn't have enough experience in, I was uncertain of how to act. And that uncertainty led to anxiety. That's what anxiety is. It's uncertainty of what's going to happen and what to do. Then from that uncertainty, getting stuck into, worst case scenarios in your head. So for me at least, man, the cure to my anxiety wasn't some freaking pill. It wasn't to sit in a cradle all day just smoking my own dick. No, the cure was experience. The cure was to get more experience so I knew what to do in social interactions. So I wasn't clueless getting thrown in there just freaking twitching around. And that's exactly what I did, man. When I first got into self-improvement, the first big goal that I set myself that I actually took action toward was a goal to cold approach as many girls as I could at my school. Cold approaching by going up to random girls who I didn't know, starting a conversation and then asking for their phone number. And this was insane for me, man, because this was coming out of lockdown. Like, we had a full year of high school where it was just half online, half in person, all just, Fidel Castro'd out, The only place I would interact with chicks was on Snapchat, man, where I'd be testing out these lines. I'd seen these pickup artist videos. They would never work, man, because I was trying to fake some persona. I had no idea how to act with girls, man. But I wanted to get better. I wanted to start talking to girls in person, and I got inspired to do cold approaching. The first 2 weeks where I was supposed to start going up to girls, every day at lunch, it was my number one purpose, man. This is all I had going for me. It was all I was living for, but I couldn't push myself to do it. It was too much for me, man. And I would be doing circles, doing laps around the school hallways, seeing the same girl walk past me 4 times, but still not going up to talk to her. And every time I'd pass her, okay, I'm gonna go up next time I see her. It took 2 weeks to get my first cold approach in, from having it be my number one purpose on a day-to-day basis. But I did it, and I started doing it. And you can see on my anxiety scores I took on this test from the UK that Hamza recommended in one of his videos to take. You could see my anxiety scores go way down in just a couple of months from cold approaching. At least that's where I think the big change came from cold approaching, from voluntary exposure to what I was scared of. I was talking to people I didn't know, putting myself on the line to get embarrassed in front of people at my school, people I knew, man, people that would see me around. Put my heart on the line, man, my heart on the line, from asking girls out and asking for a phone number, telling a girl that I was interested in her, and doing all that when I was this skinny little kid dressing like a gym bro, looking like some emo lesbian with this blonde haircut coming out the side, like a mushroom cut split in half. But from doing that, man, from putting myself in that place, I was gaining experience. It wasn't like I was some, charismatic genius after a couple months of just going up to chicks. But I knew what was up, man. I knew what I could do, and I knew, okay, if I wanted to go up to somebody and just talk to them, I can. And I knew worst case scenario. I knew the worst thing that could happen is they say they're not interested in me, and then I walk away. That's a kind of retarded way of putting it. But when you've been through that many, many times over, like I was, being rejected many, many times and having embarrassing moments in public in front of people, you kind of get numb to it. It's like if you get, straight A's in freaking science class or some BS in biology. You're getting straight 80s and 90s on your test, and then you get one test back where you got a 50, a 40. That's going to be a lot harder hit than if all the previous tests you've been getting 40s and 50s. It's still not good, and you're still like, oh, this is a shitty mark. But you can take it because you've experienced it before, and that you still made it through. You're still here right now. After experiencing it many, many times, it doesn't affect you as much. It's not like the experience changes. It's not like it's not the same rejection. Nah, the first girl went up to, when I got rejected, and the 10th girl that I went up to, it's still the same rejection. It's still the same words, really, but we're just stronger to that now. That's the idea of experience, gaining experience to fight anxiety. It's like the same thing in the gym. The weight doesn't change, but we just get stronger. And it was through doing that. It was through the girl's quest, through going up to people, and then later, joining football and talking to people through there, and going up to people at random events. All that experience I was gaining led me to where I am now, where I have a friend group of people and have a best friend that I fucking love, and I can hang out with these people and have this sick fucking friend group. It sounds kind of dumb when you say it, but if I didn't go up to those random chicks and face my anxiety, I probably wouldn't have the best friend that I have now. My best friend who honestly, he looks like a Labrador who's seen some shit. That's the kind of look he has. He's a cool guy. I love this guy, man. I call him a brother, honestly. I have all sister siblings, but I always wanted one, and that guy he's the closest thing I have to it, yeah. And the rest of the friends that I have in this group, the rest of the buddies and the chicks in this group, I love these people too, man. Like the other week we did for Thanksgiving, for Canadian Thanksgiving, for all my freaking USAers out there, all my freaking I had 2 Thanksgivings, family Thanksgivings, and then we did our own. They called it Friendsgiving, which is kind of a silly name if you ask me, but it was a fun time, man. Everyone was bringing their own food. I brought my sweet potatoes, with the special seasoning on it, that dolphin dandruff I put on it. And it was sick, man. We all the chicks stayed inside at the dinner table, and then me and the guys, we went out in the backyard, with the kind of cool temperature out, nice quiet, as compared to the chicks inside who were just yelling it up, just freaking yelling about some dude they saw with volleyball shorts on or whatever. Or talking about some chick who like flipped a table at them a couple years ago or something like that. I had a bit of wine a bit later. It was good, man. And I couldn't experience things like that. I wouldn't be able to experience things like that if it weren't for going up to random people and talking to them. And I'm an introverted guy. Like, I might seem loud and, throwing my cock around kind of guy from these videos, but I'm a really introverted guy. Like, a couple days ago, a couple guys from church went to this Christian concert type of thing. Like, it wasn't really my thing, man. Like, the music was cool. Probably would have been better if I knew the lyrics. Like, we were saying how they should have on the screens out back on the stage, like the lyrics to the songs, and have like the Thomas the Tank Engine, like the Snowball. But it wasn't really my thing, man. I kind of spent most of the time just, bobbing my head, watching a couple of brothers in front of me, just, dancing it up with the flash on. And honestly, there's some concerts where if you try to dance as a white guy, you'd get called out for cultural appropriation. Because I'm a more introverted kind of guy. I'm more kind of like, I love my buddies, I love my friends. And I'm loud as fuck when I never stop talking when I'm with them. But with other people I don't really know, just packed with crowds, I'm kind of like a, leave me alone type of guy. On my own, I wouldn't normally just walk up to random people and just go talk to them. If I see a girl and I want to get her phone number, if I just see like some guy and I just want to give him a compliment or something like that, I'll do that. But like in terms of making friends, I really don't do that. Like for the friend group I have now, I didn't meet them through going up to random people and just talking with them, which might seem hypocritical, because why am I telling you to do this? Why am I telling you to go walk up to random people if I didn't even meet the friends that I have now that I talk so highly about from doing that? Like I said earlier, I couldn't hold these friends now if it weren't for the experience I gained earlier from going up to people. I didn't meet them through doing that, but because of the confidence and skills that I built up from that practice, I was able to keep these guys and these people as friends. I needed the experience and those learned skills to have the friends I have now, even though I didn't get them from doing that. If I literally just couldn't talk like a normal human being because I was just stuttering the whole time, or I was too shy to say something, or my mind just went blank and I was just stared awkwardly at them when they asked me something. That's how it would have been like a couple years ago. That's what I was like, man. Going up to these chicks, I remember the first girl I went up to, I literally didn't know what to say, so I just said, "Hi, my name is Johnny." And then she told me her name. I was like, "Can I get your phone number?" That's all it was, man. I didn't say, "Hey, how's it going?" "Oh, I think you're cute," or "Hey, we should go on a date." No, I'm Johnny. Number. So I needed to get all that out. I needed to figure all that shit out before I could even have regular friends and just be a normal guy. And that's why I think this is the most important step, experience. The rest of this video is just gonna be me giving you tips and helping you out with getting experience, and then furthering and speeding that process up. And I'm gonna give you some practical advice and some practical things you can do to help you get this experience in a second. But if you don't take this step, if you think you're too scared, like oh no, I'm not that type of guy, I can't. If you have a little dick mindset about it and you don't feel like going up to people and talking with people to gain that experience, then this video is gonna be of no use to you and you should click off now. Okay, but for the practical advice, how do you do this? How do we go about getting experience? So one is to find a fun way to talk to other people. For me, that was cold approaching, going up to girls, trying to get numbers, it's a crazy fun thing to do, man. If you ever just go to the mall with your buddies. I'm kind of too old for it now because I kind of been there and I went through that stuff. Like the mall got old quick. When you're like when you first get into high school, like the mall is the fucking, like, that's the place to go. Where else are you gonna go, man? But now it's just kind of old, to be honest. I hate going to the mall now. But it doesn't have to be cold approaching. It could be going to the gym and talking to other guys at the gym. Could be going to football or boxing or joining some sort of sport and talking to the guys there, whether it be, talking to them about the sport or the gym or, extra stuff. But the main piece of advice is find your way of talking to people, and then forget about everything. Forget about how to win friends and influence people. Forget about the principles. Forget about any sort of a plan. Just walk up to one person and speak. Know that you can do it first before you overwhelm yourself with all these, social skills that are in these books, or like how to smile or what you should talk about. There's no point of overwhelming yourself with information if you don't even know that you can walk up to somebody in the first place. Because if you wait until you're fully prepared to go and talk to that girl and then make your first cold approach, if you're waiting until you know that 100% I'm getting this girl's number, you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life until your dick falls off. That day when you're fully prepared will never come, because there's always going to be more things to read. There's always going to be more things to know about. And you can't fully take that information in unless you practice it. There's no way of being fully prepared. So you should go without preparation. You should go with no plan, no idea of what to say, and just walk up to somebody and see what happens. That's what I did with my first cold approach. When I said I just said my name and then asked for a phone number with no compliment, no conversation, no nothing. That was because I had no plan. I had some ideas in my head of opening lines that I had written on my notes app of things I could say, things that I saw pickup artists using in their YouTube videos. But I said, fuck that, man. Let me know that I can do it first. Let me know that even without a plan, even without any knowledge of social skills, that I could just do it. I could force myself, I could push myself to and overcome this pain inside my chest and get this done. Because if you can do it with no plan, imagine what you can do when you start learning about social skills and start trying to implement them. So you should go up to one person right now. You should pause this video, throw your phone across the damn room, walk out of your house, and just go up to somebody on the street and just say something to them. Or if you're watching this in class right now, ask to go use the washroom and go talk to some chick in the hallways. Talk to somebody who you don't know, not a friend, not a family member, someone you don't know. And that's kind of shitty advice, just telling you, just go up to somebody, just talk to them, just go. Especially since I said it took me 2 weeks of dedicating my life to actually get it done. But what worked for me that Friday lunch period, when I went up to that first girl, what worked for me was getting out of my head as best as I could at the time and moving. Physical movement, something that I call the 1 foot forward method. Anxiety lives in your head. It lives in your thoughts. When you see that person that you want to go talk to, you think, oh, well, what should I say? That's your first thing that you think about. What should I say? How should I do this? What should I talk about? And you just get overwhelmed with just questions and uncertainty of what to do. And yeah, anxiety is also a physical thing too. You feel that pain in your chest. You feel your legs, shaking side to side. You feel your teeth shattering even. I felt that. So you feel some pain in your chest, but you can also feel that emptiness where you just feel like you're just frozen. And, you get that fight or flight or freeze instinct. Those physical feelings are symptoms of a problem that's in your head. So when I say to get out of your head and you think, well, my anxiety it's not just in my head, it's in my body as well. If we can fix the origin, then we can fix the physical symptoms. We can fix the symptoms. If you go to a doctor and you're refusing to sleep for days on end, you've gone a week without sleeping. Yeah, the doctor can give you some damn pills to take to make you feel a bit better from being, a week sleep deprived. But the origin, right, the cause of that symptom of, feeling like shit in the day the origin of that is not sleeping. So if you go to bed and get some decent rest, those symptoms that you feel, feeling shitty during the day will go away. So if we can attack the origin of our anxiety, which is in our head, then we can deal with those physical symptoms as well. And to do that, we have to get out of our head, which may seem impossible and it's difficult. And there's things like meditation that helps us do that, helps us, get with the present moment, get with our breath and focus on that. But that's not what I mean. I mean when you're seeing the person over there and you want to go up to them right now. You're not going to meditate, freaking fall to your ass and cross your legs and start meditating when you're on the damn cement in front of your school. But what you can do instead is the 1 foot forward method, which is when you see that person, don't think about going up to them and talking to them or what are you going to say. Just focus on taking 1 foot, one of your feet, and putting it in front of you. Just taking one step. And then when you take that step, think about taking the next, then the next, and the next. The next thing you know, you're right in front of that person, that girl that you want to ask out, or that guy that you just want to say what's up to. And then at that point, you have to say something, man. When you're right in front of them, you have to say something. And you're going to look like a dumbass your first time, because of course you are, because that's just how it goes. But you can get in front of them by getting out of your head as best as you can and just focusing on your movement. And that's the best way to do it. Taking your focus from the mental aspect of yourself into the physical aspect, into actual physical movement, which is like the progressive overload of going to talk to people, putting one foot in front of you. So in summary, practical steps. Find a fun way of talking to people, cold approaching, going to people up in the gym, and then go up to somebody with no plan in your head, with no thoughts of what to do and what to say. And you can do that by the 1 foot forward method, which is a way to get out of your head by physically moving your body up to the person. Before I move on to step 2, if you have not done this, if you didn't pause the video and go up to somebody, don't watch the rest of this video. And if you do, you're a bitch. If you want to get out of your self-improvement depression stage, where you're watching all these videos, you're watching Hamza, you're listening to Andrew Tate talk about taking action, yet you still live the exact same life you lived before you found out about self-improvement. If you want to leave that life, if you want to leave the depression stage and go into taking action, pause this video right now and go do it. I can't force you to, man. I'm not there. I can't be there with a gun to your head forcing you to do this. It's all on you, man. So, step 2, conversation. About a year after I did the girls quest, when I went up to cold approach girls, I had a new quest. I called it the social quest, and my goal was to have a basic conversation with as many people as I could in my grade at my school. And it was almost more awkward than going up to girls was. It was almost more awkward because when you went up to a chick, you say, oh, I think you're pretty, I think you're this, I think you're that. And then you have an out. Can I get your phone number? It's either yes, no, and then you're on your way. But with going up to random people, when you go up to a random chick in a cafeteria and you sit down next to her with seemingly no reason to talk to her, you're not asking for her number, you're not asking for anything, you're just going up to talk to her, it can come across as a little strange. And I learned that the freaking hard way, man. The first conversation I got in for this goal, I was in the cafeteria, and I went to sit down it was at the end of a table with a couple of girls who were a year older than me. One of them was friends, actually. I recognized her. She was friends with a girl who I went out with previously. I sat down next to them and I was like, hey, what's going on, guys? And I could tell like it was fucking weird from the second I sat down, and they all looked at me like, who the fuck is this pervert trying to sit next to us? I had no plan of what to say, man. I just sat down and said what's up to them. The one girl, she was a sister, man. She was cool about it because I think she recognized me too and was like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on here, man? What's this guy trying to do? And she was like, oh, how are you doing? In a kind of fake kind of way. And the one chick next to her was working on some math. So I started asking her about that. This chick that was sitting next to her, she was working on the math. She smelled like orange highlighters and gay. That's what she smelled like. I'm not trying to assume, obviously, but if she wasn't gay, then she wasn't doing a very good job at it. I'll say that. But I end up in this BS I'm just like, what are you working on? And then she's like, oh, whatever. And I was just like, okay, cool. And I had I think I just stood, I was like, all right, you guys have a good day, and just stood up and walked away, man. It was bad. At least you're trying to get a girl's number. If she said like, no, I'm not interested, or I have a boyfriend, you'd be like, oh, okay, that's all right. You have a nice day, then I'll see you around. And you could go away and it was cool. But here, there was no exit. There was no way out. I was on a boat and I just had to jump off. There was no port. I just had to jump off into the water and freaking try to get it out. I realized quickly that I needed to have a reason to talk to people. I needed a reason in the conversation. And the easiest way to give a conversation a reason is to give a genuine compliment. During this quest, there was a school dance, and school dances are perfect for having those miniature basic conversations. You could just go up to somebody and just say some, like, have 5 seconds, you just say some BS to them, and then you can go to the next. It was perfect for this. I was just going up to people and just complimenting dudes, like stopping dudes. I was just tapping guys on the shoulder like, oh man, you look nice today, man. Nice glasses or nice hair or whatever. Suddenly I had a reason to talk to them. Suddenly that gave it a reason to talk to them. I wasn't just going up to someone just saying, hey, sup? Like, I had a reason, like, oh, this is a nice suit, man. You going up to a guy, you're saying he looks like Sean Connery or something, and then you have something to talk about. A compliment just gives you something to talk about with the person. You can You can go up to a chick and ask her about her damn scarf or something. Then she says, "Oh, my grandma gave it to me," or something like that. Or she got it off, a dead body. Who knows, man? Like, you can just start talking about it, man, and it will lead somewhere. And then it's not weird because you're not going up to somebody and just saying, "Hi, what's going on?" You have something to go with. You have something to kind of start with. And the practical advice for this is, right, give a compliment, but to give a genuine compliment. It's the same thing with going up to girls, man. If you go up to some chick and you're just like, you're reading off your hand some pickup line, she can tell, man. Like, there's a difference, even with just the way you're saying it. I could go up to a chick and say, "Oh, I think you're pretty. Can I get your phone number?" And then you could say the exact same word for word line. She could say yes to me, but say no to you, just on the way that we said it. Because I had authenticity and you didn't. Because it's less about the words you say, especially with girls, but in just conversations in general. It's less about the words you say, it's more of what's behind them. I say a lot of dumb jokes in conversation, especially with girls, man. I say a lot of dumb stuff on dates. Like, I made fun of this girl because she was Irish. I was saying this girl needs to damn calling girls Bugs Bunny, crazy stuff, right? But I could get away with it, because I said it with confidence. I was genuinely, instead of just trying to make a joke and just trying to have a fun time. But it's the same thing for conversations in general. If you go up to a person and you just trying to flatter them and make them feel decent so they hang out with you, or so they invite you to some party, they're gonna know and they're gonna tell. They might still have a conversation with you and entertain you for a bit, but they can tell if you're BSing them. So what makes a compliment genuine then? What makes a compliment genuine is if you want nothing back from it. If you're willing to go up to a chick and just say what you think about her without needing her phone number, without needing a date with her. Just being willing to give a compliment for its own sake, just to make this person's day, right? And best comes to best, you get the girl's phone number, or you go up to the guy and you get his number too, but to be friends, and you start hanging out, or you get invited to something he's doing. But worst comes to worst, you just made someone's day. That's the kind of mindset we want to have about these genuine compliments. And if you really don't know what to compliment them on, the easiest thing is something they're wearing: shoes, hat, jacket, shirt. Or if it's a chick, the way they did their hair. Or if you're in the gym, so you could say someone's work ethic, or oh buddy, you got huge arms, or something like that, Or if it's in a sport, their athleticism, their performance, if they made a sick tackle, you could say something about that. Step 3, confidence. I remember the first day of grade 9 in high school. I had one in-person class and then the rest were online. And I had to go to the cafeteria to do those online classes, which was honestly, if you ask me, it was a regime and a half. But I had music first period. The bell rang. I was walking out and I was walking into this empty hallway, and then the doors opened for the stairwells, and just a flood of grade 11, grade 12 dudes just came out, fucking jacked, huge, tall, just ready to freaking pound me, man. And I remember just shitting my pants looking at all these guys coming out, and I had to go down this way, but they were coming straight at me to leave the school. I remember just trying to squeeze myself by, and I just couldn't, man. I remember one guy just bodied me in the shoulder, and then as he was passing by, he was like, "What the fuck, man?" Because I was a skinny guy, man. I think I'd been working out for about a year, but wasn't making much progress yet. I had a couple of dumbbells in my bedroom type of thing. And I wasn't eating enough. It wasn't good, man. So when I was passing guys, I was like a pillowcase full of antlers, man. I was just getting tossed around in there. And a big reason was because I had no fucking confidence, man. I didn't hold my ground. It wasn't like I was standing tall and I was walking through and people move out the way for me. No, man, I was a pussy, bro. And I got treated like one, bro. I got fucked, man. And then a year later, I found self-improvement and was reading the book, The Charisma Myth, which, great book, like I said, if you want to get into social skills after you've already walked up to somebody. I assume you have if you're watching this video. But in that book, I read about this concept called the big gorilla. And if the book said to visualize, the big gorilla, the king of the fucking jungle. And that's not a racial thing, by the way. But the king of the jungle just walking through and fucking pounding through trees, pounding through damn animals, damn little critters coming at him. The book asked, if my memory's kind of fucked up, but the book asked, do you think the big gorilla, this fucking jack guy, this fucking jack beast, you think he would move out the way for somebody? Do you think he would kind of shimmy his way past people? Do you think he'd be all kind of, crumbled up body language, kind of, coming in, not really looking at anybody, head down, kind of, Nah, man, he'd be freaking taking up space, man. He'd be giant. He'd be making you move out the way. That's how you would act. That's the kind of visualization you want to have for how to walk. And I adopted it, man. And I looked like a damn fool, bro, because I was walking around these holes like pumped up chest, fucking flexing my chest, just walking around like this, man, freaking like arms swinging crazy. Like, and that's when people started making fun of the way I walked, which is a reoccurring thing that's been happening, man. I gotta do something about it. And then I made that video a while back called How to Walk or Body Checker Classmates. I might have changed the title, I forget, but the way I walked became like a cliche almost with the people that knew me. Then over time, of course, I adapted to it and kind of got a more normal looking walk, but still, you know, open body language, kind of swinging my arms a bit, taking up space, a confident way of walking. And that works because something that I've been saying for a long time is that I think your mental and your physical, the mental and physical realms of yourself are very closely linked. So if you start physically acting more confident, you will feel more confident in your head. And the other way around, if you feel more like a bitch, then you're gonna look like a bitch, you know, the way that you're walking, you know, you're gonna be hunched over. And you see guys walking like that, like you see them and you might not consciously think it to yourself, but you don't have much respect for those guys. Obviously you respect them because they're another human being, but you don't look at them and think like, oh yeah, that's somebody, you know what I mean? And you'll see that too, man. You'll see that in other people. If you start doing this, if you start practicing the big gorilla, which I'll, you know, break down in a second in the practical advice. If you stop, you know, limp dicking your walk, you know, walk like you actually have a pair of balls on you, people are gonna respect you more. People will actually move out the way for you. Part of that's just getting bigger, you know, gaining muscle and becoming a bigger kind of guy through weightlifting and through the gym, but also through body language and confidence. And the practical advice here is, first, long term, you know, get into the gym, gaining weight. But if you're on self-improvement, I'm assuming you're doing that anyway. The practical advice is doing the big gorilla, which is to mainly open up your body, standing straight, shoulders back, face up, you know, aware of your surrounding, kind of, you know, man spreading the soul a bit, you know what I mean? And then, you know, start walking, you know, have a bit of a swing in your arms, you know, not like you have, you know, a bit of tism in you, but just, you know, take up some space. Don't be afraid to take up some space. And a bonus tip that you can do here is practice eye contact with people that you're walking by. Eye contact fucked me up for a long time. I have a video about it, man, if you want to check that out. But especially with girls, especially with like hot girls, man, if I started talking with them and I like kept eye contact for more than a few seconds, I'd just go to a different place, man. I'd be falling off. I'd be hanging off the edge. I'd be getting conversations with people just looking away, looking down and stuff. It wasn't good. And a good way to practice eye contact is with no stakes, which is what's going on when you're walking past people in the hallway, on the sidewalk, wherever, and you just practice making eye contact with them walking by. Because you're not in a conversation with them. If you're, you know, some chick's walking by, you're looking at it and then you have to look down. It's fine because there's no stakes, man. There's no risk. You're not in a conversation with her. It's not going to be weird. It's not going to be whatever. But you can still get in the practice. And if they do, like, look back at you and it's kind of, you think that's going to be kind of weird, if it's someone you know or if it's a dude or something, you just, you know, give them one of these or give them the eyebrows or whatever. Say what's up to them if you want. Or if it's a chick, then you can just, you know, you can do the same or just smile at her or something. But I want to close out the video with this, man. Something that I realized this past summer when I was, you know, spending time with my fucking social circle of people that I, like I said, I love, man. I love to death. Because I was only spending time with them. And we were going to the beach together, we were going for dinners, we were going to concerts, we were going to this and that together. I wasn't thinking about anyone else that summer. I wasn't thinking about, you know, those chicks who were calling me misogynist and saying that I think women should stay in the kitchen. I wasn't thinking about those guys who were, you know, making fun of me for getting stood up in the stairwell on Valentine's Day. I wasn't thinking about that chick who was, you know, saying I was homophobic basically because I'm Christian, because I believe in the Bible. I wasn't thinking about any of that stuff, man, or any of those people. Because I wasn't there with them, man. Because I wasn't hanging out with them. And I kind of realized towards the end of the summer, man, that those other people, they really don't matter. That those other people that, you know, during the school year, when I was seeing every day, I'm so concerned about, they really don't matter. Because at the end of the day, man, this summer when I don't have to see them, man, I'm not thinking about them at all, man. I don't, like, there's nothing there. I'm only spending time with and I'm only caring about the people who actually matter to me, you know what I mean? That might sound kind of like obvious, but like the one chick in my history class she's a pretty girl, you know, this brunette girl. She was in my group for one thing, and then we started talking about Andrew Tate, and I'm like, oh, is she gonna think I'm a misogynist because I like Andrew Tate, or I don't know how I feel about him nowadays, but little things like that where I'm like, oh, is she gonna think this, is she gonna think that? When really at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter. And it's hard to keep reminding yourself that, but I think it's good to take, a moment when, shit's really getting to you, when there's like 5 girls in front of you saying that, saying how you should start name dropping people in your YouTube videos and stuff. I think it's good at moments like that to remind yourself, hey man, who gives a fuck, bro? Who gives a fuck, man? They don't matter. But there is people who do matter, my buddies, my whoever. So I'm just gonna focus on that instead. It's not really a piece of advice, man. It's mostly just something to think about, but I hope this helps, man. Don't be afraid to give up the good for the great. Peace out.